In the heart of Kochi, where the sea carries centuries of stories, and at the Aspin Wall venue of Kochi-Muziris Biennale, a collective from the east has anchored a new wave of resistance. The Panjeri Artists Union, born on International Mother Language Day in 2022, Panjeri brings together 14 practitioners, artists, designers, filmmakers, photographers, writers, and musicians, united by a single purpose: to speak for the silenced. The word Panjeri itself comes from Persian, a navigational device once used by boatmen to traverse Bengal's turbulent rivers. Today, that name becomes a metaphor for direction, guiding art through the rough waters of modern politics and memory.
Panjeri Artists Union is a community of 14 art practitioners. So we come from diverse backgrounds. Some are visual artists, some are from filmmaking background, some are photographers. There are members from literature background, and there are members from sociology background. So we have a very diverse group working together. So largely we are kind of the group formation largely happened in this place called Banipur in West Bengal, not 24 Parganas, this district of West Bengal, and the Banipur had a very special place in a context of degeneration of certain kind of art and culture, because there is a the Banipur was developed as a center for education and culture in Bengal, mostly in the post-partition period. And also the location is interesting in this sense because the whole center was built around a abandoned Second World War township. It was a township that was developed on a airfield basically, which was the airfield of the Royal Air Force of the British Army, and they were meant to keep Calcutta safe during the Japanese air raids during the Second World War. So, and once the war was over, the airfield was abandoned, and then this whole turbulent decade of 40s went by, and then Bengal was partitioned, and people who migrated from eastern part of Bengal largely settled down in this kind of towns, which were this kind of landscape which were abandoned, and Banipur and Ashoknagar was one of those landscapes. So all of the members who are part of Panjeri Artist Union, they bear some connection to this place, Ashoknagar and Banipur, and their families also have long histories of forced displacement and and the long partition that has been continuously shaping our life, and that has been one of the key catalysts of bringing us together as an union. Yeah, and we have been practicing informally for a long time, maybe almost 7-8 years, but then we have kind of formalized ourselves in the form of a union from 2022, and yeah, now we are here at Kochi.
Panjeri's purpose is rooted in resistance, not through protest alone, but through creation. Their works emerge from collective memories of partition, famine, displacement, and war. History is carried not in textbooks but in songs, soil, and scars. Through workshops, performances, roundtables, and public interventions, Panjeri transforms shared pain into shared dialogue. Each project is a bridge connecting the unheard with the world that often looks away. As Pinak from the Union says, their art becomes a voice for the voiceless. Every breaststroke, every sound, every word speaks of those erased by caste, poverty, language laws, and forced migration.
So it's our work is it's basically a voice for those people that you are talking about. Because now when we kind of collectivized and started working together, of course this was the issue, and in the last few years the way it has been politicized, and issues of migration and issues of language, particularly Bengali language, the way it has been penalized across the country, that is something of one of the major concerns in our works. And we belong to those communities which are our extended communities are being continuously criminalized around the country. So, and our work largely expresses solidarity and positions around this context, and we try to develop our voice of resistance against it. So if you look at some of our work, that we bring in several instances of material cultures that are part of these communities that we are talking about, and we place them in a certain way that whole invisibility and indignity attached to these identities are somehow they are addressed, and they are given the due dignity they deserve. So that aspect is also there in a lot of our works. If you look at the film that we are developing, so we have a film by someone called Arif Mondol. So Arif is one of our collaborators. So Arif is he was a person from the weaver community in the district of Nadia in West Bengal. But since the decline of this entire weaving industry over there. And particularly after COVID, a lot of people from their villages have started migrating to different states, particularly in South Indian states like in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, in search of work. So they also have become the part of the migrant labor workforce in other countries. So Arif has been working as a migrant labor for a long time now, and he has worked in Chennai. He has worked in different parts of Kerala. So he also is an interesting person because as part of his journey of from this transition between a weaver by profession and becoming a migrant laborer with that complete destruction of rural economies in Bengal. So he has been documenting this phase, this transition, his journeys through his mobile phone, and he has almost gathered more than some 60 70 hours of footage, and he has been working with us for some time. One of our member Labuni has been actively working with him, and we are developing some films out of those. So one of the films are here on display. If you can go and see it, it's been playing from last few days. There's another film again made from Adib's footage is also being played here. Yeah, so that is how this the issue that we're talking about is very much part and parcel of our practice.
Their work doesn't stand apart from the people, it stands with them. It reminds us that the ordinary man, the farmer, the worker, the refugee is not just a subject of art, but its soul. In the modern age of walls, political, digital, and emotional, Panjeri insists on building connections. Their practice encourages communities to reclaim agency and imagination, to resist isolation and despair. Art for Panjeri is not decoration, it's dialogue, it's dissent, it's endurance.
We are engaged in a practice which is largely a it's a political discourse. At the same time, it is also about regenerating a certain form of culture. But it's not directed towards making someone's life better in a direct way, but it's basically to leave some imprints, create some discourse through which larger power considerations can be challenged. Some disruptions can be brought in through practice in the kind of normativity of power that goes on, and uh, kind of frames our life in a certain way. So we our work kind of challenges that framing. We bring in new perspectives through which communities can be understood differently, communities can be experienced and interacted with differently. And we also work directly with first of all, we ourselves are part of the community, so we are not outsiders to it. And secondly, we also work with grassroots levels with public institutions back in Bengal, with communities where we belong to, and also with small community spaces. So we also develop those kind of spaces and work with them, and we develop art project, workshop based models, roundtables. So that goes into our practice. So we are not just a group which shows in biennales or museums or galleries, but we very deeply with our communities, much more on the grassroots level.
Here at the Kochi-Muziris Biennale, Panjeri turns their 100-day presence into what they call a living site of conversation. Through evolving spatial interventions, blending archives, performances, and workshops, they continuously reshape the space, reminding visitors that art is not static. It breathes, argues, and grows alongside the people who experience it. There is an intimacy between Kerala and Bengal that goes beyond geography, bound by maritime trade, peasant uprisings, and shared struggles for equality. In Kochi, that bond comes alive again.
Well, I think we also see this work in Kochi um, as, as a kind of space for a lot of possible solidarities, and lot of juxtapositions in terms of creating this exhibition, because we are working with a lot of collaborators here, and many of them are from here, from Kerala. So we have artist friends in Kerala. We are engaging with activists and um, scholars. So through which we decided to develop, create this exhibition as a kind of evolving space, which will be constantly transformed through collective dialogues. And that dialogues, one part of dialogue is coming from our side, and another part is coming from the collaborators and friends and audiences who are particularly from Cochin and across Kerala as well. So I think it's a constructed space in that way, and continuously changing in nature. So the display that you are seeing today, it will not be the same in the coming weeks. It will continuously change, and maybe after a month when you come, the display will be completely changed. So we have other collaborators who will take over the space and they will change it. So that way, it's a gesture towards solidarity and connection and working together.
Panjeri's work is both a return and a reminder that the histories of one land flow into another, that every tide carries the memories of resistance. From Bengal's volatile rivers to Kerala's backwaters, Panjeri navigates the waters of her collective conscience, tracing stories that demand to be heard and futures that still can be imagined.